Call to order the special board meeting for Wednesday, August 21st, 2024. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I move to approve the agenda.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved by Mr. Bruni and seconded by Mrs. Vernon that we approve the agenda. All those in favor, let's do a voice vote. This is Justin. Yes. Ryan,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
Karen,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Stephanie.
She's muted.
Stephanie, I think you're muted. All right, well, motion carries 5-0, I guess. Stephanie, if you can hear us, we can't hear you. So there's one topic for tonight, which is the approval to publish our budget. So this isn't the actual budget approval. That happens next month, with both the revenue neutral hearing and the budget hearing. This is an approval to post the budget, publish the budget to the newspaper. As I understand it, and Lauren and Rebecca keep me honest, that if there was a need between now and the actual budget approval, the budget could come down potentially, but it can't go up from what we publish in the newspaper. So that's something to keep in mind as we work through this tonight. So I'll go ahead and kind of jump in with some of my perspective, but certainly would ask Lauren and Rebecca to jump in potentially as well. So what I'd sent out this afternoon was a proposed budget for each of you to kind of soak in a little bit. Effectively, it's flat over last year. So flat from a mill levy perspective. So it's down just ever so slightly, but effectively flat from a mill levy perspective. Certainly is, additional dollars. So the, valuations went up about 3%. So, it's not a perfect 1-to-1, but roughly spending 3% more as well. So, given the inflationary environment and whatnot, it certainly costs more to run the school this year than it did last year, and likely next year than it did this year. So, that's part of where it's coming from, in addition to some of the raises and stuff that we gave teachers this last month and the like. So we did talk about a couple of scenarios to lower the mill levy a bit. I don't think there was ever any discussion of raising the mill levy. So it was really a question of, do we keep it flat or do we lower it? The conversations about where we would lower it were largely focused on our capital account. So if you look at the little table that I had sent out, the 20 mills to the general budget, that's a statutory requirement. That's not something that we can adjust. The local option budget did go up slightly based on the state average of the local option budget. That's a place where, frankly, where we're typically challenged right now is around operating expense. So that was a place where we did want to maximize that local option budget relative to helping some of our operating challenges. Capital went up ever so slightly, but I went from 7.4 to 7.5. Again, there for both LOB and capital, there is state aid that we get in both of those buckets. So we do want to maximize the state aid. That isn't a pure local tax. That's shared across the state. So we want to maximize that. And then the place with probably the biggest move was dropped 8.82 mils on the bond and interest. So as you know, we've had several years in a row of positive or better than modeled valuation. So we've been in a position the last couple of years to lower the bond and interest mill levy. Last year bigger than this year, but meaningfully both years. I do think it's important to acknowledge that that's probably not a trend that will continue. So In our conversations with Dustin around the bond strategy, mill levy management strategy, I think it'll be less likely that we'll continue to be able to drop the bond and interest mill levy like we have the last couple of years. Additionally, the LOB will probably continue to go up for at least one more year as the state average creeps towards the maximum. So that's something that we will have to account for next year if we want to keep the mill levy flat. And then lastly, I think in the next 12 to 24 months, our view on capital budget may change significantly. We've got a special meeting next week. Are really in a position where we have to earmark and begin to spend those construction contingency and bond premium funds. And, I think we should be in a position in the next 12 to 24 months that our, kind of the current view of capital will change markedly as we earmark and spend those funds. Just kind of from a sensitivity analysis perspective, if we were going to consider lowering anything, as I mentioned earlier, it would be the capital budget side. We modeled a couple of different scenarios. So dropping the capital budget from 7.5 to 7.3, so a 0.2 mil drop is about 50,000 in tax revenue and about 10,000 in state aid, so about 60,000 total. Similarly, if we dropped capital by 0.4 mils to 7.1, that would be about 90,000 in tax revenue and about 19,000 in state aid. So, I think the issue in my mind is there's value in stability. I think if we drop that capital budget this year, there's a likelihood we would have to raise the overall mill levy next year, either because of capital or because of LOB. I think there's a lot of value in stability related to those. I think it's much more about stability than it is whether or not we want to give back, 60,000 in tax revenue. But I'll pause. I guess my view, given the work that Lauren and Rebecca have done with the support of our other partners, is the budget as presented would be, I think where I would land for the reasons I shared, but certainly maybe first open it up to Lauren and Rebecca for any other context, and then open it up to the board for any questions or comments.
Justin, I think you and I have talked enough that you really probably explained exactly how I feel about the budget this year. I really don't have anything else to add to it. I think there was a lot of effort to try to, come in flat, and knowing that we had to manage the LOB to, dollars to bring it in just a little under being flat was our biggest challenge. And I think we've met that goal. And talking to Dustin Avey a couple times today, you're correct. We're kind of running out of options, with the bonded interest. So I think keeping everything stable is our best path forward.
Okay. Rebecca, anything you'd add? You've worked hard on this, so I want to give you an opportunity if you have anything, not putting any pressure on you.
I don't really have anything additional to add other than to kind of mirror what you said, that from where I sit, this keeping it flat now helps us as we move forward with options, seeing how everything plays out next year with LOB in particular.
Okay. So open it up to the board. Any commentary?
I was looking at the chart that you had sent out, and I was wondering, if we lower the overall mill levy by 0.2, how much does that lower a homeowner's taxes on, say, a $200,000 home?
We haven't done that math specifically, but given that it's 50,000 total for the district, I mean, you're talking about $1. I mean, it's pennies. I mean, it's not.
Okay.
It's
That's
not,
what I was wondering. Okay,
Yeah.
so it wouldn't really.
Yeah, I haven't done the math, but 50,000 across the district. I mean, it's got to be a couple of bucks. I mean, I take it to heart. I mean, this is a tremendous responsibility that we have, and I think that when we have the ability to lower that, we should. But I don't think the 50K move, divvied up across every roof moves the needle very much.
So it wouldn't help them as much as it would help us to keep that up. So,
Or said differently, I don't think it would help them as much as it would help to show stability in the mill rate and not be bouncing back and forth from year to year.
okay.
Mhm.
That's an opinion, but that's my opinion. Jim, anything you'd add? I know you've been pretty instrumental in this historically.
No, I think you guys have articulated it. I mean, I do think, I don't know exactly when we'll get the benefit of the dog food plant and the capital account, but I mean, we've been able to kind of steadily bring it down a little every year, and we got a lot of capital projects lined up, so I think putting that where it's at, it all makes sense. I know some people want it lower, but overall, I agree with what you guys presented.
Okay. Any other comments? So with that, I would move. Oh, sorry, Ryan, you came off mute. We're going to say something.
No.
Okay. So with that, I would move that we approve action item 2.1, which is the approval to publish our budget. Is there a second?
I'll second.
I second it.
I heard Karen first, so moved by Justin, seconded by Karen. Let's go ahead and do a voice vote here. So this is Justin, yes. Linda,
Yes.
Karen,
Yes.
Ryan,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Stephanie.
Yes.
All right, motion carries 6-0. All right, appreciate everyone's time this evening. Thank you for your service to the district and for your time on a Wednesday evening, and we are adjourned.